call is now being recorded.
So, okay, let's start our discussion na. Wala akong... Ayun. So, let us define first what is anthropology. So, anthropology is the field of social science that focuses on the study of man. Unlike sociology, ang focus ni sociology is about the interaction between the man and the society. Si anthropology, ang focus niya is studying mismo yung humans or tayo. At what point? So, it does not only pertain to one aspect, but it could also pertain to the mind of a person, so as our environment. So, as kasama din dito on how man has a way of living o paano nabubuhay ang isang tao. So, malalaman din natin yan later on. So, looks into the man's physical or biological characteristics and his influence, and his social influence and relationship that influences his culture. So, yun yung kanyang mga nililook into. Like, for example, yung way of life ng isang tao, yung ways to survive niya, yung mga bagay na ginamit niya. Yan, kasama yun sa mga pinag-aaralan ng mga anthropologists. So, as yung bodily structures ng isang man, that is also part of anthropology. So, how does anthropology would help us in discovering ourselves? So, there are four subfields in anthropology. So, number one, we have archaeology. So, when you hear the word archaeology, ano yung mga unang pumapasok sa mga isipan ninyo?
Yung mga taong nagre-research about sa...
Wait lang, naka-mute pala ako. Ano po ulit?
Yung mga tao pong madalas mag-research tungkol doon sa mga past civilizations tsaka creatures nung past.
Okay, they were called as archaeologists. They study archaeology. It's right. Next, another one. Bukod doon, yung mga archaeologists ay pinag-aaralan nila yung mga different things. So, no need to raise your hand ha. Sagot na lang po agad.
Yung mga tao po na nag-aaral po about sa history and anything po na connected po sa history.
Okay, anything connected to history, specifically history ng isang bagay or ng isang tao. Okay, next, another one. Ano ba ang archaeology on when you hear the word archaeology? Ano yung mga pumapasok sa isipan ninyo?
Fossil fuel.
Okay, very good. Fossil fuels. Yung paano mapapakinabangan yung energy na nakukuha sa mga fossils. Another one.
Artifacts.
Okay, very good. It's artifacts, di ba? So, yung mga artifacts na yun is doon nila nakukuha yung history, right, of a person. So, paano at ano yung kanilang pamumuhay? So, wait lang, nawala ako. Hindi na ako makaano sa kabila. Nalak ata ako. Okay, sige, yaan nyo na. Kung ayaw ko pa joinin. Sorry. Okay. For archaeology, no, it is a subfield of anthropology, wherein ang focus ng study nito is focus on the past and how does the past may contribute to the present ways of how people conduct their daily lives. So, kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, or kaya kanina nasabi nyo rin na mga history po, ma'am, paano po yung buhay nila before, so as yung mga artifacts, so as yung mga fossils, di ba? So, sa archaeology kasi, ang pinaka-focus nila is about the past. And yung mga pamumuhay ba before, paano ba nakatulong yun or paano pa yun makakatulong? And the living or the daily living of the present, in the present times. Ayan. So as in archaeology, man's big brains have allowed them to think and look for the ways to prolong their existence. So that's why different artifacts existed. Why? Kasi mostly ng mga nakukuha ng mga artifacts from the past ng mga archaeologists or na-discover ng mga archaeologists is ginamit ng mga tao before to survive in their everyday lives. Diba? So that's why it would help them or it helped them to the archaeologists or those artifacts rather help the archaeologist to discover the history of itself and how does the living before could differ or could be similar to the living at the present. So next one, the tools and weapons that prove effective are used repeatedly and then one further improved made his life easier. So like for example is yung tools like yung mga tawag nito, apoy, 'di ba? Ang apoy is until now or up until now is ginagamit pa rin siya. So as yung knife, 'di ba? Before yung mga knife is kung yung knife is gawa siya sa bato and then later on nag-improve siya ng nag-improve, nag-iba yung mga materials. So as ngayon sa panahon natin, it's now stainless steel. So kasi kung ang isang bagay is effective siya or meron siyang use in the everyday life of a person, it would there's a big possibility na mag-improve yung bagay na yun and magkaroon ng innovation. So magkaroon ng same concept but different structures or non-different types, ganon. So yung mga tools and weapons na yun, it would make life easier on the long run para sa mga humans. They would easily survive in their everyday lives because of the tools and weapons. So archaeology also talks about the discoveries of archaeologists made the discoveries of archaeologists made the people realize that the most important aspect of human nature is survival. So kanina pa ako nagsasalita or kanina ko pa didiscuss si survive, 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 survive. So sa archaeology kasi, habang nag-i-study yung mga archaeologists ng different artifacts, fossils, dinidiscover nila on how those people became or came at this point, how does a society work before, no? So, dun sa mga discoveries na yun, may isang bagay na na-realize yung mga archaeologists. It realizes that in the life of a people, no, the most important aspect is the survival. In everyday life, kailangan natin mag-survive. Even before na hindi pa ganun ka-modern ang buhay, no? We have to survive. Next one, after archaeology, we have what do we call biological anthropology. Si biological anthropology, it focuses primarily on how the human body adapts to the different earth environments. So, ang pinaka-focus nito is about paano nag-a-adapt yung ating body in the different climates, different temperature around the world. So as, 'di ba, hindi lang naman nagbabago yung environment, hindi lang nagbabago yung katawan natin. So as nagbabago rin yung environment natin. So, pinaka-focus ng mga biological anthropologists is bakit or paano nag-a-adapt yung ating katawan doon. Like for example, paano nakakapag-adapt yung body natin or sa mga lugar na madalas winter or madalas madaming snow, malamig. Paano naman tayo as Pilipino, paano tayo nakaka-survive or paano nakaka-survive yung body natin sa mainit na temperatura ng Pilipinas? Diba? So that is the work of biological anthropologists. So next one is biological anthropology look into the probable causes of the disease. Ayan, sila din yung tumutuklas. Like for example, yung cure for cancer, kasama din sa mga researches nila yan. So, physical mutation, paano nangyari na mas malaki yung skull ng mga remains ng mga sinaunang tao kaysa sa remains ng mga tao at present. Next one is death. bakit nagkakaroon ng death or bakit namamatay yung tao in some diseases. So, yun yung mga pinaka nilulook into nila, yung whole biological process and impact ng environment sa mismong tao. So next one, they also wanted to know how people evolved from their early forms based on the fossilized remains. So like what I have mentioned kanina, for the best example here is yung evolution of a man. So paano nagkakaiba-iba yung structures ng bones or yung itsura ng bones ng mga tao before kaysa sa mga tao ngayon. So, yun yung isa sa mga tinitingnan or inaaral ng mga biological anthropologists. And tinitingnan din nila how does those persons survive in the early environments before. Diba? So, ano ba yung mga sakit na kinahinatnan nila or na-encounter nila before, which is nang hindi pa ganun ka-available sa science. So, next one is yung biological anthropologists also do comparative research on human beings, both dead and living, in the other primates. So, kanina may na-discuss ako about comparing, ganyan. So, yun yung mga isa sa ginagawa din ng biological anthropologist. Kino-compare nila yung body structure ng mga naunang tao sa atin, so as sa mga tao ngayon, so as yung mga kahit patay na or buhay pa, so as yung other primates, like ano ba yung parehas ba tayo ng body structure sa monkey? Ano yung pinagkaiba natin ng body structure sa monkey? And so on and so forth. So yan. So after biological anthropology, we have linguistic anthropology. So as I have mentioned kanina, no, people communicate through language. So human survival primarily linked to their ability to communicate. So, syempre, through communication, mas lalo tayong naiintindihan and mas lalong nagsusurvive yung ating society. Kasi we can strive hard to find each others or to see that lahat ng tao is part of the society through communication. And the brain comes equipped with a specialized area specifically for the purpose of communication. And yung brain din kasi natin, mayroong specific area, which is, if I'm not mistaken, it is the larynx area, wherein it specializes in both spoken and written language na alam natin. Like for example, tayong mga Filipino, usually we are all bilinguals. We can understand English and we can also understand our local language. Wait lang po. So sige, yan na natin. So local language natin. So like for example, some of you can also understand a local dialect. So yun yung nagagawa or yun yung pinaka-amazing na thing, part ng ating brain, because our brain specializes in understanding or processes a language or a dialect, no? So that's why one reason bakit mayroong mga tao na bilinguals is that of the part of their brain is working. So as linguistic anthropology is an essential part of the human communication. So, ang pinaka-essential part ng human communication is language. Language cannot be limited to the words na sinasalita, but can also be the written language. Like, for example, marunong tayo magsulat ng mga Tagalog words, English words, yun yan. So, as yung alphabet na meron tayo, so, kasama yon sa tinatawag nating language. Kasi, we communicate using words. We can communicate using the spoken language, the words na written, and the words using the spoken language. And isa din ang language that gives us the identity. Diba? Like, for example, pumunta ka sa ibang bansa, and then, gusto mo na i-confirm kung yung nakita mo bang or nakasalubong mo bang tatlong babae sa isang street is Filipino. Syempre, to confirm them that they are Filipino, Since sa point mo is mukha silang Filipino, no? To confirm that, syempre, kakausapin mo sila in Tagalog. And kapag sinagot ka nila in Tagalog, yes, they are Filipinos. Diba? So, it gives us the identities. So, as nga, sa isang, kunwari, umattend kayo ng isang convention or ng seminar, and there are other nationalities, paano mo malalaman na taga-ibang bansa sila? It's because of the language they speak. So, yun din, nagbibigay sa atin ng identity ang language. So, as the words, sounds, symbols, writings, and signs that are used are reflection of the group's culture. So, nagiging reflection din siya ng group's culture or kultura na meron tayo. Like, for example, yung mga punto, di ba? Alam naman natin na every Filipinos can understand Tagalog. But, kung mapapansin nyo, no, iba yung way ng pagtatagalog ng mga taga Cavite sa way ng pagtatagalog ng mga taga Batangas. Ganon din sa mga taga Laguna. That's because ang language natin is nagkakaiba-iba. So as yung different language or spoken language natin is gives us the identity. Also, hindi lang identity yung nabibigay sa atin. Nagbibigay din ito ng reflection kung ano yung merong or kung anong culture meron tayo. So, kaya kung mapapansin nyo, very unique yung way ng pagsasalita. Minsan ng mga taga Cavite, taga Batangas, yan, taga Laguna, diba? Even though, same na Tagalog yung kanilang sinasalita. Next one, linguistic anthropology focuses on using language as a means of to discover group manner and social interaction and his worldview. They also studies how language and mode of communication change over time. So, linguistic anthropologists, yung isa din sa focus ng kanilang studies is paano nagkakaroon ng self-interaction or nagkakaroon ng social interaction yung mga tao using their language. So, paano din yon nagiging con or pro sa kanila or would be having the same or speaking the same language would be an advantage or disadvantage, no? So as how they view the world using that language, yun din yung nilolook into ng mga anthropologists. So as they look or they study how language and modes of communication change over time. Na, like for example, no, before ng mga panahon ng Espanyol, yung Filipinos or yung yung Filipinos is some Filipinos know how to speak pure Spanish. So bakit marunong sila magsalita ng pure Spanish? Wherein yung mga tao ngayon in today's world is they didn't know how to speak Spanish. So ang pinag-aaralan ng mga linguistic anthropology is how does those type of communication among Filipinos would evolve over time. So as yung modes of communications natin. So paano nangyari or paano biglang nag-boom or nauso na magkaroon ng cellphones? Like for example, before ng mga 1990s, ganyan. Ang mode of communication is pwedeng sulat or pwede din sa telephone. And dun sa part na yun, kung gagamit ka ng telephone, kailangan mo pa ng mga payphones, pupunta ka pa sa ibang ganto, sa ibang lugar para makatawag, ganyan. Wherein, kung i-compare mo yung way of life before sa way of life ngayon, is mas madali ka na makakatawag or mas madali ka na makikipag-communicate sa ibang tao. Diba? Ngayon, isang chat mo na lang sa messenger, pwede na silang mag-reply sa'yo. So, as pwede mo din silang tawagan using your phone if you have load. Diba? So, ganun yung isa sa nililook into ng mga linguistic anthropology. Paano nag-evolve or paano nangyari na before is telephone pa lang yung way of communication ng mga Filipino, lalo na sa mga malalayo nilang friends or families. And then ngayon, cellphones na yung gamit. Touch screen pa, diba? Next one, after linguistic anthropology, we have cultural anthropology. From the root word itself, cultural, we have this type, or we're going to discuss culture naman. So, ang culture is described as the groups of people's way of life. It includes their behaviors, values, beliefs, and symbols. So, kung ano man yung pamumuhay mo on the everyday basis, that is part of your culture. Yung traffic, yung mahabang pila, if nararanasan yun before nung face-to-face, that is part of the culture of the Filipinos. So, as yung ating, ano ba, yung pagpupo at opo, mano, celebrating Christmas, festivals, ganyan, kasama siya sa kultura nating mga Filipino. Ay, siya may. Ayan. So, yung cultural anthropologist, ang focus nila is um, knowing what makes one group's manner of living particular to that group and forms an essential part of members' personal and social identity. So, paano na nakakapag-create ng way of life or paano nakakapag-create yung way of life ng mga tao sa pang-araw-araw into a culture. So, paano nagkakaroon ng pagkakatulad-tulad yung ang isang or ang group of people. So, yun yung pinaka-nililook into ng mga cultural anthropologists. Tinitingnan din nila yung mga pinagmulan ng mga iba't ibang traditions na meron sa isang culture. So, yun. So, next one, we have this theory of cultural relativism. So, sa theory of cultural relativism, human nature is determined by the ideas, meanings, beliefs, and values learned as a member of a society. So, for cultural relativism, dito natin na-distinguish na in every culture, there are different cultural norms, cultural beliefs, different values. So, through cultural relativism, dito din natin marirealize na hindi natin dapat or hindi natin pwedeng i-impose agad-agad sa tao yung beliefs natin na mayroong ibang culture na sinusunod. So that's why cultural relativism, we have to relate with each other, not relating by not influencing, but syempre understanding what cultures would give us. And ano ba yung what would be the expense of that culture? Like, for example, we have this positive and negative. So the positive side of cultural relativism is that it suggests that human beings can be shaped or formed to have the kind of life they prepare. So meaning to say, kung hindi naman siya taliwas sa cultural norms or sa standards na meron sa isang society, it's okay. But on the negative sides is, since tanggap lang tayo ng tanggap and we're letting the culture shape us or shape ourselves, there would be a point na hindi na natin makokontrol or we have no control on what we're going to learn, even if the negative ones na may yung ma-learn natin. And on that point, they blindly accept the learning their culture exposed them to. Okay? Kahit na sa paningin ng ibang culture is mali yun, sa culture natin or sa culture ng ibang tao is tama yun. Like for example, may mga culture, lalo na dito, mayroon pa ring mga tribal cultures or tribal traditions dito sa ating bansa which involves child marriage, no? Kung sa atin, on this point na hindi natin or para sa atin hindi kaaya-aya yung ganong type of practice. But for the other people, it's okay. And ang sasabihin lang nila is parte ng kanilang culture yon. So, that is how cultural relativism works. Next one, we have naman manifestations of culture. So, paano nga ba na ipapakita ng isang tao yung kanilang kultura? So, yan. Like this, for example, no? May highlighter na pala. Ayan. Like this, for example, sa symbols. Pag nakakita ka ng tertiary, ano yung unang-una niyong maiisip?
Bohol po.
Very good, buhol. Diba? So, yun yung unang-una niyong naiisip, yung buhol. So, for the symbol, syempre, nagiging symbol ng buhol, yung tarsier. Since dun lang naman siya makikita na parte ng Pilipinas. So, that's why the words, gestures, or pictures, rather, or objects that have a recognized, accepted meaning in a particular culture. So, ayun. And like, for example, also, um, pinaka best example for symbol ng Philippines is yung ating Philippine flag. 'Di ba? Pag nanonood kayo ng mga games na sa mga SEA Games or basta sa television na mayroong mga mga competitions na may involvement na per bansa yung participants, no? Malalaman mo na yung isang kalahok is participant siya from the Philippines when you see the Philippine flag beside his or her name. So, yun yung isa sa example ng symbols. And always remember, symbols can be words, can also be a gesture, it can be a picture, or any object na tanggap, syempre, dun sa culture na yon na meron siyang meaning. So, yan. Ito mga another term for symbols. Symbols naman to ng mga different religions around the world. So, next one is manifestation of culture is the heroes. So heroes are persons from the past or present who have a characteristic that are important in a culture. So like for example, etong dalawa, balik na naman ako. Heroes, ayan, si Captain Barbell and si Apolinario Mabini. So ano yung significance ni Captain Barbell? Yung pagiging malakas and pagiging abilidad ng mga Filipinos. Si Apolinario Mabini naman yung pagiging determinado na tumulong sa paglaya ng Pilipinas sa mga mananakop. Diba? They're both heroes. Si Captain Barbell, he is a hero on a fictional side. Whereas si Apolinario Mabini, he is a hero in a non-fictional side. Okay, always remember that heroes can be fictional or non-fictional. Kapag sinabi nating fictional, hindi siya totoo. Katulad ni Captain Barbell. Wala naman talagang totally nag-exist na may lumilipad-lipad na lalaki somewhere at nagdiligtas ng mga tao, di ba? Si Apolinario Mabini, yes, he really existed, lalo na in the history of the Philippines. And meron siyang malaking ambag sa society natin up to this day. So, rituals naman, these are the activities participated in by a group of people for the fulfillment of the desired objects and are considered to be socially essential. So, ito yung mga different activities within the culture. Like, for example, sa ating mga Filipinos, since we are all Filipinos are known to be religious persons, no? So, as you can notice, is mahilig tayo mag-fiesta. Yung fiesta is created for the celebration or para i-celebrate yung buhay ng isang santo. So, as yung festivals na meron sa atin, di ba? To celebrate the masaganang ani or celebrate something great that happened. So, in rituals, we have two examples. Two categories rather. Religious rituals and social rituals. Social ritual, one of the example nun is yung social gatherings like graduation, birthdays, ayan. For the religious ritual naman, one of the example is yung binyag or baptism, kasal, ano ba? Kumpil, komunyon, so that those are the religious rituals. So always remember there are two types of rituals, which is the social ritual and the religious ritual. So tandaan nyo na lang po siya, hindi ko na po siya nailagay sa aking PPT. So next one, ito na yung last. manifestation of culture, we have the values. And always remember that values are the core of every culture. So values are unconscious and can neither be discussed nor be directly observed, but can only be inferred from the way people act and react to circumstances in the different situation. Like for example, nakakita everyday nung face to face pa sa ano, tawag dito, sa flag ceremony, 'di ba? Nandun yung panunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas or sa pagiging makabayan natin na tatayo tayo ng tuwid kapag nakakarinig tayo ng national anthem. So that is an example of Filipino values or values. So as yung pagiging madasalin natin. Na hindi man siya everyday na na-observe, but most of the Filipinos were really religious or madasalin. Another one is yung using natin or yung paggamit natin ng po and opo. So that is also a part of the values. So with that, any questions regarding my discussion?
Wala po.